Well, I guess it's official, although I doubt anyone's shocked. Disney's ill-fated Snow White live-action remake starring Rachel Zegler isn't just shaping up to be one of the biggest flops in Disney's history. By the time it ends its theatrical run, it may very well end up being one of the biggest box office disasters of all time. And honestly, I think that there's kind of a poetic justice in all of this. After all, the original Snow White film from 1937 is the movie that helped establish Disney as an elite family entertainment brand. But now, the very IP that had once put Disney on the map is the ultimate example of just how creatively bankrupt Disney are today. Now, there's been a lot of talk recently about just how much money Disney spent on Snow White's production and marketing combined. And I've seen different reports that estimate that it was somewhere between $350 to $500 million. But whether you're going on the low end or the high end here, in order to break even, Disney needed to make close to $1 billion at the worldwide box office minimum in ticket sales, and there's absolutely zero chance that they are going to pull that off. Not only that, it's not just that they're going to lose a few dollars here, they are going to end up losing hundreds of millions of dollars, because as of now, if you deduct all of the fees taken away by theaters and distributors, it looks like Disney only made about $60 million here. In many cases, this would be the type of failure that could cause a whole studio to fall apart and collapse. In Disney's case, they do have a lot of assets, and they're still in a position that they can lose a lot of money, but you know what? There's something that they've lost in this specific movie with this specific failure that's beyond money, and that's reputation, an image, and in a way, this failure highlights a much bigger crisis that's happening at Disney today, a creative one. Over the past several years, Disney has insisted on becoming overly political, pushing divisive ideologies, injecting identity politics into every single one of their movies and shows, and all the while, with this kind of annoying arrogance, they were so sure that they were in the right. But at the end of the day, what they forgot is they run a business, and in a business, you need to make money by luring customers, by giving the customers things that are of interest to them, not just by lecturing them. And it's very telling that this past weekend, where Snow White only made about $6 million at the box office, it was absolutely demolished by Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie, but in addition to that, it was also beaten once again by the Jason Statham action vehicle, A Working Man, and also by The Chosen, which is basically a Christian TV series, which right now is temporarily being screened in select theaters. Even that is making more money than Snow White. So at the end of the day, just to make things clear here, audiences would rather see a very silly video game movie, a middle-aged action macho man movie, and Jesus than Disney Snow White. That's how big their failure is. In their pursuit of this mythical, non-existent modern audience, Disney has ended up appealing to nobody. And the writing was on the wall. How many movies, how many shows, how many things have we all been saying for years that this company is just taking a dump on its customers? And they're so arrogant, so full of themselves that they never bother to even listen. Instead, they were always pushing these PR campaigns, making it seem like all the people that didn't love their quote-unquote content are terrible people. But you know what? They're the terrible people. And even that thing that they claim they do, the diversity and inclusion, for this movie, they had an option to really do that. This was a movie that would have seen the employment of 7 little people who would have played dwarfs, and another 7 little people who would have likely been stand-ins and maybe some stunt actors. At the end of the day, this is a group that is legitimately considered a group of disabled people, and Disney, who had initially auditioned them, threw them out on the street so they could quote-unquote do the politically correct thing. And in addition to all of that, there's really no way around this. Snow White is a Caucasian woman, the same way that Mulan is Asian, the same way that Pocahontas is Native American, and the same way that Aladdin is Middle Eastern. Insisting that Snow White isn't white was a really dumb idea to begin with, and let's just say that Disney wanted all of this, at least hire an actress that's likable and people like her presence. I mean, I never really preferred the casting of Halle Bailey as the Little Mermaid, but as I said in my review a long time ago, Bailey's always given me the impression that she's a likable young woman. In all of her interviews, she's always seemed rather humble and gracious, and I never felt any ill will towards her, understanding that she was offered an opportunity and she took it. In Rachel Zegler's case, though, she was insufferable, in my opinion, from day one, alienating pretty much the entire world, and now that the movie has failed, we're even seeing all these people come out of the woodwork tied to Disney or just people in the past that have worked with her that are also confirming that she is a very, very unpleasant person, something that we all pretty much knew. But I guess the silver lining here is that I think that this failure finally highlighted, in a way that's indisputable, just how much damage Bob Iger has done during his tenure as the CEO. I guess back in the early days, him buying a bunch of IPs and succeeding with some of them, like with the MCU, made him look good. But now it's pretty clear that Disney, a company that was once built on fresh and original ideas, is now just sort of a graveyard for IPs, where under Bob Iger's leadership, they just get run into the ground. And I'm sure that Bob Iger is going to find a way to spin this. He'll tell his investors that there was a conflict in the Middle East, that there were strikes, and that the coup was still taking place, and all this other nonsense. Not that I expect him to ever take any responsibility, and not that I expect Disney to suddenly fall apart tomorrow because they're too powerful. They're almost too big to fail still. But the optics of this are bad, and worse than anything Disney has had to deal with in a very long time, and you know what? They kind of deserve it. And if you liked my analysis, and you enjoy watching my videos, please support an independent creator like myself. The algorithm here just keeps shifting around, and anything you could do, like liking and subscribing, would really, really help me out. Thanks for watching, my friends. Thank you, and good day.
I am such an awesome guy. I make so many videos. But